That guy from Halloween? Larry Cinders? I forget that guy's name. Zooty MaTooty. How you doing, Zooty MaTooty? Annie MaBooty. Hello,
All right,
lady.
Hi, pal.
I gotta hit. Okay, so we can start broadcasting whenever, or like start recording, then we can start the show whenever you like. So if you want to do 3, 2, 1 countdown.
Sure.
Okay.
So on 1, you want to start recording?
Yeah. Okay.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
And actually, I want to start recording with my backup device. Okay, that is recording. I bought a new external microphone, and I used it to test it out for the first time last night during the Empire Strikes Back commentary, and it worked great. And it actually came in super handy because one of the 2 mics that I was recording with, like with the 2 snowball mics, stopped working halfway through.
Oh, that's awful.
So I got to use the external backup little battery mic that I bought, and that worked fucking great. And actually, the sound quality is actually kind of better than the snowball mics. So it actually turned out fine anyway, but yeah.
I'll believe it. The snowball is really just designed for one person talking.
Yeah, it was crummy. Here, and shout something for just a moment.
Hi. Hello. Greetings.
Okay,
salutations. Okay. Hello. Hi.
I just wanted to sync that shit. So we are recording, right? That's what we just did? We're recording? Okay.
So I got my thing. You got your thing.
You got my thing. We all got our things. It's good.
All right, pal. You ready to start doing this?
Yeah. Thank you for making time to record today, Annie. You're a beautiful
person. No problem.
I love you.
Thank you, Bill, as always, for being the gracious host and editor of things.
Yeah, this is the first time I almost slept through because I was up until 3 a.m. last night. What the hell was I doing? Yeah, go ahead.
You could have kicked back the podcast. It's not like I'm.
Oh no! I just happened to wake up at 9:30, and so it's not like I had to I still managed to put my pants on and take a poop and get some Sour Patch Kids in my belly.
Good. I'm glad you got the important things done.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Hey.
Good stuff.
Good morning, pals, friends, beloved listeners. This is the Boy Hattie Podcast. I'm Annie.
I'm Bill.
We're here to talk to y'all about some more pop culture garbage. Bill, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm almost tempted to start the podcast with those sounds.
You know what? You know what everyone loves? A good old Bill the Cat ack in their ears.
Yeah, well, as long as it's not too loud. I'm trying to step away from the microphone when I make disgusting barf sounds, but yeah.
I the Boy Hattie Podcast has always been known for what an auditory nightmare.
Yeah, it's a fucking...
Why should we change anything?
We're nothing if not the THX sounds before your favorite films of horribleness. The audience is not listening because they could be doing better shit than listening to us. How you doing, Annie?
I'm doing pretty darn good. On Friday, I went on a movie date with some friends of mine.
I see. According to the show notes, you saw Hunger Games.
Hunger Games, that's correct. I went with some dear friends of mine to go see the latest Hunger Games.
That movie's actually out now. Is this the last one?
Yeah, it came out on Friday.
I have heard nothing about this. I'm really surprised.
It's the last installment in the Hunger Games. It feels like.
Can we talk about spoilers?
I mean, I've read the books have been out a while.
Yeah, the books have been out forever.
But I don't know. I mean,
they kill what's her name? Because I know that's a big thing. Because spoilers.
What's her name? Because there are a great number of what's her name.
I heard lots of people die in this movie.
Lots of people die in this movie. Actually, you know what? I don't know how explicit I want to get because it's not that it's many people die, but I don't think that's the most interesting part of this movie.
I saw some fans somewhere. I can't remember, but it was like Reddit or something like that. Some fans were very upset that they were heavily featuring what's her name's name? Katniss? Her sister. And they're like, they're showing her sister too much. They're giving it away. No, you assholes. And so they do they shoot her sister into the sun?
God, Bill.
What?
I just was saying, I don't know how spoiler we need to get. Sure, let's just get right into it.
I can just walk back and just insert a bunch of screaming, honking sounds.
No, the interesting thing about the Hunger Games is that ultimately the whole I've read the books, and the books aren't high art, but it's interesting to have young adult fiction oriented towards young women that, while it deals with boys and fashion, ultimately it's about PTSD during wartime.
Yeah, that's what we've always talked about.
And it's so I find the books fascinating, and I find most fascinating the fact that the books had the balls to end really not necessarily happy, but showing that sometimes you don't get a happily ever after.
Yeah, what does not
Sometimes
happy mean in this equation? Does everyone die or what?
no, it's not even that. It's genuinely like everyone in the book is too broken by this point, by what they've gone through to actually be happy and know happiness,
Oh, okay.
but not living feels like an ingratitude after everyone has died around them.
So
So
it's
it's
like
not
the
so
greatest generation, except they don't spend the next 60 years bragging about how awesome they are.
it's like these people went through hell and are
Okay.
shattered forever, and they kind of have to limp along until they die because it would be a cruel
Does
joke to kill yourself after
does
all
she still
this.
end up with PETA or Donald?
Well, what one of the things that I really like about the Hunger Games, and that I think movie adaptations have always struggled with, is that so much of the Hunger Games happens in Katniss's head, and from the outside, she can seem kind of
Is
cold.
it told from first person?
I think it's third person biased,
Oh, okay.
is what I recall.
Okay.
And so you get a lot of this conflict that's within her, and Jennifer Lawrence does a phenomenal job bringing that to the surface, just with her face and with the way she does interact with
So she
people.
stays invested just because like this is her fourth Hunger Game movie. This is she doesn't like she's not suddenly like too good for this stuff or anything like that. She's not like
No, I mean she still
okay,
does a
good.
great job.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I was thinking about this last night because I was talking to my friends afterwards, and it's weird to live in a time when people can be in genre movies, and that's not necessarily something you phone in. Like it's
Yeah.
actually like between all the Hobbits and all the Marvel movies, and like everybody wants to be in a Star Wars. It's like now it's not that it's like really cool to be in genre now,
No, but
but
it
it's
can
not
actually be
like
kind of taken seriously. You might actually get an
yeah,
award for this if you stay
yeah.
invested. Yeah.
Or it's like
Um.
at least it's not the kiss of death anymore,
Yeah. She's not like
And
pulling a Harrison Ford where she can just barely tolerate being in the last movie. Yeah.
no, she does. I mean, she does a great job. The
Okay.
movies
Good.
are just all not super great. Like,
Yeah.
like I said, to be fair, the books aren't high literature, but the movies have all been kind of sluggish and kind of strangely
I
edited.
I saw like the first half of the first movie, and I saw the second half of maybe the second. What's the one where they bring back all the victors from the previous Hunger Games? Is that
I
the second?
can't fucking remember. I think that is the second one.
And I
I
saw
think
the
that's the
second
we
half
opened
of
in the
that,
second one.
and after the action stuff started, a bunch of drama stuff happened. I was kind of surprised how sluggish, and I even like I it was dense enough I couldn't understand what was going on, and it was kind of moving slowly at the same time.
Yeah, it's strange. Also, at the end of the day, the story is ultimately about how Katniss is manipulated by everyone around her.
That's what even that second movie, like that seemed to be, even when she's on the battlefield, it's like she can't like
Yeah.
get a grasp on anybody. Yeah.
And the thing is that there's only so many times that at least in a book, you get to you feel what's everything that's going on in her head, and you're with
Yeah.
her as she experiences all these things. In a movie, you're basically just watching her as she goes from one person to another, controlling her and forcing her to put on a persona.
Yeah, it's all
That
surface stuff. Yeah, you really can't. Yeah.
but I mean, it's interesting. It's not like I think it's a very relevant sort of story to tell about
But
like media
this
and
sounds
like
like the kind of story where
personality
this
and
actually story changes a little bit because you're looking at it from such a different perspective, though. Because it seems
yeah,
like so much of that story is about surface level stuff and can you trust this person and kind of like about
yeah.
like the books are all about like the distance between people, what happens between people, and like the government, the media, and stuff like that. And in the movies, all but yeah, it's I don't know, it's interesting. Okay.
It's a weird adaptation. I think they do a fine job, but the last movie is rough.
Okay.
It was interesting because I went with some dear friends who love the Hunger Games movies, like actually really love the movies,
Oh,
and even they
have
left
you read the
feeling a
books?
little like one had, the other hadn't, and they
Okay. Well, I'm
really
glad to see
enjoyed
the
the
books
film.
are at least good enough to stand on their own as a fan. Like you don't feel like you have to go back and I don't know.
It's like, I mean, I feel like it's like Harry Potter, where it's like at the end of the day, it's just a really
Well,
well
that was about
cast.
what I was about to ask because those movies kind of even I mean I read the books, but even those movies kind of felt
I feel
they
like
still didn't make
it's
sense.
I feel like it suffers a lot from I mean, the Hunger Games movies make sense, but what is really funny is that the two big surprises at the end of the Hunger Games books, the movie kind of telegraphs from 100 miles away. So when they
no,
happen,
yeah.
you're just kind of like, yeah. So it drains a lot of the suspense from stuff. But I'll be honest with you, I could forgive all of that. Except my favorite part of the Hunger Games books is how it ends. Because like I said, everyone technically on the surface, it's a happily ever after. Katniss winds up, it spends the rest of her life in a peaceful world where democracy has been restored with one of her men, the men who mean so much to her. And oh god, it's so good. It's so delicious in the book, and they almost get it in the movie. Like
Is
it's
she
kind
like a terrible old age makeup in this movie at the end? Is it like 50 years later you see her, she's
they
all
don't
like
do that. I will spoil the very end of the movie like an asshole. So at the end of it, she winds up with Peeta. Peeta has been so brainwashed that the last movie ends, and this movie opens with Peeta almost chokes her to death.
Isn't it like I've heard a couple people complain this movie like starts like it pretty much you hit unpause from the third movie. Like there's really not even an opening like.
Literally, I actually really liked that it opened like this. Literally, the camera comes on to Jennifer Lawrence sitting there as Katniss, and she has this brace around her neck, and they take it off, and you can see the bruising from when Peeta choked her. And it's a really well acted, nicely shot moment. It's really, really good. And even in that moment, the doctor is saying, repeat after me. I am Katniss Everdeen. I'm from District 12. And even in that, even in her therapy, she's being given, like she's being forced, like she's
directed.
This is exactly. And I'm like, the movie opens and like, delicious. This is so good. And it's just all kind of.
I can see you like eating your popcorn like a snake.
So, at the very end, Peeta has been fucking brainwashed to shit, and he's struggling to claw back from the other side.
So he gets captured by the bad guys, the government.
That happens in the last movie. He is brainwashed. He is used as a kind of pawn of the government. We see him even on these broadcasts as he becomes thinner and more gaunt and more broken. Okay. In the last movie, they capture him. He assaults Katniss. That's the way the movie ends. So this movie opens with Katniss all fucked up, and slowly over the course of the movie, like Peeta is trying to come back, and he's struggling, and he'll say these things to her because they implanted all these false memories, and he'll say something to her, and he'll say, once I did this, real or unreal, and she'll tell him if it's real or not real, and it's a heartbreaking thing, and it's such a great little thing in the books. And like one of the last for the first time, like Katniss and he are kind of holding each other, and it's not sexual and it's barely romantic. They are literally just alive together, and he says, "You love me, real or not real." Aww. And it's like such a fucking like that. Even that, like he can't believe that. It's so so good, so delicious. And she says real, and it fades to black. And I'm sitting here going, I would respect this movie so much if fades up from black. Again, to be fair, this happens in the books, but in the books you can get inside her head, and in this you can't.
Is this ending why so many people hate the ending of the books? Because I know a lot of people
probably.
Yeah.
I did not hate it for this. It's how
the person I know is like, oh yeah, the Hunger Games ended good. Everyone else is like, I don't know if everyone else hated the actual ending like last minute, or if it was just kind of like how maybe the whole third book just kind of like generally just wrapped everything.
Yeah, I'll believe both.
Yeah,
because I will say that if anyone read the ending of the book like the movie presents the ending of the book, I would hate it too.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Literally, it pulls up and you see them it's Katniss and Peeta in the forest on the edge of District 14 and the beauty of nature, and the sun is shining, and Peeta is off in the distance playing with a little boy. Their little boy.
Is District 14 the one they came from?
I get District 12 is what I meant to say. District 12 is district. And she's sitting there holding their baby, and the baby cries. Out of bread? And it's like such a happy moment, and it's like, and this happens in the books, but again, Katniss is kind of like, these are my children, I guess, and like that's my husband, I guess, but she's too broken to actually like she's going through the paces. It's another role she's playing, but she's so broken she can't.
So in the movie they just kind of focus on the fruits of her victory without showing how that fruits in the book are couched in a shitty fruit cake of
it's all in her mind. So like what do you do? And also can you do that in a movie? Like You can't. But Bill, I'll tell you, the worst part is that the baby cries in her arms. This is like literally spoilers for the last 15 seconds of Hunger Games, and I can't get over it. Baby cries, and she goes, "Were you having a nightmare?" I have those too. And you can see Jennifer Lawrence is trying to make this work. And I'm like, no, buddy, you can't do it. She goes, "Someday I'll tell you about my nightmares."
Oh,
and
no.
I can't remember how the transition goes, but she says something like, while you go off and go to school and play your games, and, you know, there are worse games.
That's what I was about to say. I've heard people make fun of that last line from the books too, but yeah.
Is that in the books? I could not remember this.
I've heard people joke about how the last line of the book plays on the fact that it's Hunger Games. Like,
oh my god, did I block that out?
It is like if you ended the last Star Wars movie with, "Thank God we don't have another Star War." You know, it's yeah. That's what I've heard. Again, I have not actually read it. Actually, the fact that like you like the actual even the movie adaptation that much really makes me want to go back and revisit it.
Oh no, it's again. Bad. Am I not?
I know it's bad. I mean, I don't know.
It's not a good movie. It's interesting. It's not even. There are some things that they try to do just from a technical standpoint, where like there's one of the most intense fight scenes or action sequences in the movie. Even my cohorts who weren't really movie buffs. They were all sitting there going, "That felt weird. I didn't understand what was going on." Which some of the other Hunger Games had that issue too. Yeah. But I was talking to them about it. I'm like, yeah, I think they were trying to make it feel claustrophobic and spookier for not having that immediate context. Yeah. But I think it just kind of fell apart.
It's kind of like when they use shaky cam so much, and rather than just kind of adding momentum, it just makes everything confusing, not in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you are right. The very end of the book, I forgot, that's what it is, because she's telling her child how to deal with the trauma, and she says, "Yeah, just think of all the good things in your life. It's like a game, but there are worse games."
That's not so bad, but I've heard other people joke about how like I
don't know. It didn't feel as bad in the book. There's something about hearing someone say it out loud.
Yeah. No matter, it's like if you ended the Shawshank Redemption with like with one of those guys turning to the camera and saying, "And that was my Shawshank Redemption." You know,
exactly. That oh boy!
You had a good time though.
It was an enjoyable movie going experience.
I mean, but fuck yeah, no, that's cool. I'm glad it like stuck the landing as much as you kind of could expect it to. Does it have like South Park style cutout animated fucking Philip Seymour
Hoffman?
Yeah.
They did a pretty good job. I was really curious about that because apparently they were filming the last movie and this one more like they were filming some scenes at the same time.
Oh, that makes sense.
There are a lot of new scenes in there with him.
Okay.
And there are other scenes where I could tell, because I'm a big fucking dork, that this was like a composite and he wasn't really here and they edited this in. But it was all really subtle. And at the end of the day, the whole point of his character is that he's a puppet master manipulating people from behind the scenes.
Heavensby, right?
I can't fucking remember.
I fucking love the names in the Hunger Games. It's great.
They're great and dumb. It's a really fun. It's like, I don't know if fun is the word you can use to describe the Hunger Games.
It's like Star Wars shit where like you can't like or hate this series any more than like you like or hate the Star Wars movies. I mean, Plutarch Heavensby is no better or worse than like Han Solo or Luke Skywalker. Everyone's just used to that. I'm down with Plutarch Heavensby, is all I'm saying.
But yeah, no, these games are interesting because they really do feel like the Harry Potter movies.
What did you think about the unexpected kiss between? This is the other thing I heard people complain about this movie. It's fucking True Detective kisses Pitch Perfect. It's fucking.
Oh, yes, that got a big gasp from the audience.
I heard people complain that got a bigger reaction than any of the fucking Peeta Katniss stuff in the movie. Yeah.
It's because you don't see any adults have any sort of relationship.
Wait, what happened? These people have inner lives? What's going on here? Yeah.
Yeah, I know. There's a nice little thing where what's his butt? Hamish, as they're leaving the Capitol, gives a smooch to Elizabeth Banks' character.
Yeah.
Woody Harrelson. Yeah. And it was just like a nice little moment that showed that. It's nice because so much of these books are about things falling apart during wartime. It was actually kind of refreshing to see two people, even though you never see anything on the screen, to see these two people from two such different backgrounds who did not like each other could have anything during this time. It was actually kind of a nice counterpoint to all the grim, dark gloom and doom of the Hunger Games.
And not quite as grotesque as Donald Sutherland making out with CGI so Philip Seymour Hoffman for a quick moment too.
That's correct. That's a joke you can make.
Not because totally of homosexual stuff, but because like you have to kiss a computer generated Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Sure.
They just took a giant baby.
But yeah, you know, it's like I feel like these movies are very much so like the Harry Potter movies in that they're impeccably cast, perfectly cast, really interesting costuming and world building, and then everything else they're kind of lethargically plotting and
so do they
weird
blow
urgency.
Up like Chris Hemsworth? Like, does he just kind of like just get married to someone else, or what happened?
You learn Katniss kind of just brushes him off. He is implicit in something that she cannot forgive, and that's the end of it for him. Okay. So I don't know why I'm being coy about not fucking spoiling the Hunger Games, and I just spoiled the last 15 seconds.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything else we could spoil.
But anyway, yeah, I don't know. The Hunger Games, at the end of the day, here's the thing though. Beyond anything else, there is a genuine like 50-50 gender split in almost every single shot of that fucking movie. Like there's that whole thing where it's like if there's like a third women in the room or less, you'll think it's 50-50. And I had to stop myself and like count just to make sure. I'm like, no, are there actually half as many broads as dudes in this scene? Yes, and 9 times out of 10 it was true. And it's just kind of nice to have a movie where that is just kind of a thing and not a big deal. And I hope, and that's in the books too, to be fair. And if anything else, I hope that is this movie's legacy. Is just a casual density of broads.
Well, people are still giving Hunger Games credit for like as few like female led and starring projects there are on Hollywood these days. I mean, that's the Hunger Games is kind of credited with that, like those projects kind of being kind of marketable right now. So
yeah. And speaking of, so I didn't really emotionally react much to the Hunger Games, but what did make me cry big dumb tears was they showed the Force Awakens teaser trailer before that.
Which one?
It was like the first big trailer, like
like that third big one they came out with like a month ago, where it was all
where it's like like everybody. It's first the lady saying her dialogue, and then John Boyega, and then the evil dude, and then the girl again, and Han Solo chimes in, and I'm just sitting there, and it's so funny because I've seen that trailer before, and I was like, yeah, okay. But this is the second time I've seen it in the theater in the big screen.
It's different on a big screen, yeah.
And this is the second time it made me just cry dumb baby tears.
That's only like 3 weeks away. Yeah, we recorded that commentary yesterday, and we're all like, is the next time we're all going to see each other going to be at the movie theater? We're like, oh, fuck yeah, I guess. Shit. It's coming. It's coming. I still got tickets if you want them.
I admit, going to see the Hunger Games in a theater full of people, I was kind of like, do I want to have this carnival atmosphere around the Star Wars? I mean, it would be fun, but on the other hand, I don't know.
Yeah, sometimes you got a couple weeks to decide. So
yeah. Anyway, but I think I enjoyed the Hunger Games on the balance.
You didn't dislike it, so at least that's something.
It was, like I said, I think it was a not a great adaptation, but a competent adaptation, even though they did kind of layer on the hetero to soothe all ills. But other than that, it was, it was an enjoyable evening in cinema, I guess. I had a good chat with my friends afterwards.
Did you end up watching some of the Jessica Jones stuff?
Man, I watched the first one, and I'm not the audience for it right now. Thank you.
I was surprised at how much I liked that. I went in with gutter low expectations. I wonder if it's more just like, it may not be the best show ever or anything like that, but I wasn't expecting, because Agent Carter, everyone was raving about, and that was only kind of turned out to be kind of campy bad, but still kind of amusing. But I actually kind of like, I've only seen 3 episodes so far, but I kind of like it.
I just watched the first one, and I had read the comic back in the day, and I didn't really have a lot of emotional attachment to it at the time, beyond the fact that I liked that it was a lady protagonist, detective lady, and I'm a sucker for that detective trope. But I'll tell you, so it was kind of interesting. So I've been playing, Fallout and watching the Hunger Games, and then the romance novel I read recently, and then this. All of them are about women who have experienced extreme trauma and manipulation by people they trust, and like their whole journey is about them coping with that trauma. And there was something about like halfway through Jessica Jones where I was like, you know what? fuck that narrative. I don't really need that one more time.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. It's like I would like to have stories about women that aren't about how they've been broken by people in power around them and abused or assaulted. For any definition of that, I don't know. I was just like, no thanks. No thanks. I don't need that clawing panic up my throat from one more piece of media.
It's funny too, because one of the reasons I actually kind of like Jessica Jones so much, because it is very specifically about that, and almost it's essentially like the whole show is essentially just a giant rape metaphor at this point. I don't see a lot of that, and I'm also a white guy. I'm kind of insulated from most of that stuff. So something like this being so explicitly, especially something like from a Disney studio. Addressing this kind of stuff was kind of like, I don't know.
Sure.
But
no, I think it's. I think that's sort of stuff.
I could see why you like turn this on and go, this fucking story again. Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah. I think they were handling it better than most and with more empathy than most. I guess.
I actually like Jessica Jones as a character, regardless of like well, I guess you can't like take the trauma out of that.
It's the point of the show.
She's a walking wound, but yeah, I don't know.
I like that she's kind of an unlikable anti-hero in the way that usually only dude protagonists are allowed to be.
I think that's exactly what I liked about the show, because like I've known women like Jessica Jones in real life, but I've never seen kind of like a lady kind of like specifically like this on TV, where she is just kind of like an asshole and kind of just doesn't take care of herself, and not like in a cool, sexy way, but like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, and don't get me wrong, it seems neat and great. It's just that right now, at this moment in my time,
I understand. Yeah, that's why I'm not pushing it too much or anything. The only reason I even recommended last night, I sent you the only reason I sent you an email last night saying you should check it out was because she ends up boning Luke Cage, and I didn't realize that was Luke Cage, and I was like, oh, that's that guy. There's a pretty steamy sex scene in, I think, the second episode. So it's more just the sex scene more than anything else. I was like, hey, you should go check this out. So
thanks for looking out for my bonerville, but I just no thank you. I will watch it another time.
Yeah, I don't know. So did you like the comic this is based on? Because this is all Bendis. I didn't realize this. She was created by Brian Michael Bendis.
Well, I think she was. No, I think she was an original character that was then like kind of wrote her into the backstory, and like Bendis really liked that character and hauled around a lot. I think when he went and wrote the Avengers, she was able to rejoin the Avengers, and like she shows up in Ultimate Spider-Man even as in a different light, and I mean I read the comic. I really didn't like the art, and the comic opens with the anal sex scene instead of hedging that halfway through in a way that was not
anal sex, because that's one of the things. She flips over halfway through her first sex scene. I was like, okay, I've never actually seen that in a movie or TV show before.
In the comic, it's more text rather than subtext.
Okay, I thought maybe she just got tired of looking at that guy's dumb face.
In the comic, it's more like she wants to feel anything, even if it hurts.
Oh,
and it's just
no.
I don't know. It's
there's nothing wrong with butt sex. But...
No, anal is fine and great. Don't get me wrong, but it was just like there's something about the way it was not a happy consent, like not even consensual. It's not a happy moment for either of those people.
Like in the second, I think it's the second episode that they find out that they fuck in the first episode, but they don't know if they have powers yet. But in the second one, they find out each other they have powers, and then they take advantage of that, and they have some pretty fucking fuck you sex. But
that's all well and good. It's just I can't. No, it's just cool. Right now in this moment, I would like to experience some media about a lady where she is not broken in that particular way.
I like Jessica Jones because almost all the characters are ladies. That was also a big surprise.
Foley really liked it because of the unexpected lesbianism. That got Foley's attention.
Dawn and I were watching it, and she's like, "Oh, Carrie-Anne Moss."
Yeah, that was Foley's reaction.
And then she's like, "Oh, Carrie-Anne Moss is married to a lady in this show, and she's a badass lawyer."
Yeah.
And also the show is mostly written and directed by ladies too, so I don't know.
It's interesting. It's a sort of storytelling and story that, because I think that it's been optioned to be a TV show for a while now, and like for years, and it's been bumping around. And I think it's the sort of thing that only could be on Netflix, like to have like be kind of that casual about sex and that casual about having ladies.
Because the whole crux of the show, the bad guy just seems to be kind of a mind control rape monster. I don't know how you could like. I don't yeah, I don't know how you tell this. I'm actually kind of curious to see how much they can get away with on Netflix about this shit. But
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like one of those things where there are times when I stop and I think, I'm doing this for fun.
yeah,
This is a choice.
exactly. Like, how much do you just want to be self-lacerating this way? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was raised Catholic. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I believe in some good self-flagellation, but I gotta draw a line in the sand.
Again,
And I
on
think
the same front, the main character, Kristen Ritter, I really like her. You know, she's the one who plays Jessica Jones, but she has such a cartoon face. I could
she
also
really
just
does.
she
She
technically
looks
has a
like a
pretty
cartoon
face,
character.
but it's so severe, like it's a caricature of herself that I could see also people just being turned off because she looks like Lydia Dietz from the Beetlejuice cartoon, but
She looks like she's
made
from an
flesh.
Archie comic.
Yeah, exactly. But like, not just like she looks like she could be a character in that, but she looks like if you took a character, like an actual cartoon character, and made it into meat and had her walk around. Yeah, so I don't know.
It's also funny because I'm
Definitely or
pretty
anything like that.
sure
We're not
she was
passing just
one
on
of.
her looks, but she looks like a comic, like a cartoon character. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure she was one of the teens in Veronica Mars too. Is
Oh,
what
you
I'm
know what?
remembering.
I wouldn't be a bit surprised. Yeah.
So it's kind of funny because
Which is
it's
funny
like
the show is just Veronica Mars 2.0 anyway, but yeah.
which I'm fine with. And it's interesting because I was just talking on Twitter about the battered detective trope and how it's one of my favorite tropes of all time and how I'm a huge sucker for it. But it's just, I don't know, man. I'm just kind of, I'm a little done with women broken in that way in my storytelling.
Is her best friend. Did they, in the first episode, did they show her best friend who's like a talk show host?
Yeah.
They do some interesting things where her best friend is she's trying to beef her, whereas like Jessica Jones is kind of like all beaten up and kind of like doesn't take care of herself. Her like blonde supermodel looking best friend is like doing her best to like she's taking like self-defense classes and like has turned her apartment into a fortress and she's like being very proactive that she's never going to be a victim like anyone. I don't know where they're going with that. Hopefully they're not just building her up just to get her broken down by the villain or something like that, but it's interesting because like she's the opposite of the broken detective where she's being super assertive, like saying like she keeps on walking around, she's got all these bruises all over her body because everyone's kind of like, what the hell are you doing? She's like, don't worry about it. And it's because she's like taking these super crazy self-defense classes like for like 12 hours a day and stuff and essentially turning herself into a superhero without superpowers. And
sure.
Again, that I've only seen like a little glimpse of that, so I don't know how much of that's going to be a thing or how that's going to be handled by the end of the show. But I don't know.
I mean, this sort of storytelling can be enormously cathartic and handled well. It can be like,
yeah, you're
like
kind of playing
all this
with
stuff.
dynamite, though. Yeah,
it's just one of those things where it's like it's an element that I just can't handle any more of right now at this exact moment in my life.
Like I'm tired of the fat white guy gets the pretty girl at the end. That's just.
You've been watching Paprika? The one story where that happens.
That's it. Example why that's my favorite movie of all time. I have no idea. Christ. What else?
Hey Bill, what you been up to this week, my friend?
So Fallout. Where?
How unplayably breakable how are you doing, my friend?
No, Fallout ran really well again. So I started from the beginning.
Yeah.
And I walked outside. What do you do at Shifting Sands? Who am I supposed to talk to?
Shifting Sands?
Yeah, it's the first town you come to.
You mean Sanctuary Hills?
No, not Sanctuary Hills. It's just like Shifting Sands. It's like right after you get out of the vault, right after you get out of the caves. And you fight like the cave rats and stuff.
Shifting Sands?
Yeah, when you're
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Because the water chip gets busted and you have to leave the Fallout and you have to go outside.
Oh, you are playing Fallout. You are playing Fallout 1. Wow.
Yes. Yeah, so wow. Got the Steam machine. It's funny that like the day after I got my Steam machine up and running, I forgot what site it was, but they're selling all the old pretty much every Fallout thing ever made except for Fallout 4 for $20, like one big thing. And so I got that. So I've got the original Fallout. I've got like Fallout Tactics, which I've never heard of before. I've got Fallout 3 and New Vegas on PC right now. And
you can skip Fallout Tactics, just to let you know, my friend.
Because if you've never talked about it, I can imagine it can't be anything worth investigating. But yeah, I didn't realize Fallout 4 and 3 and New Vegas, they like stole half their sound effects from the old first game. Like,
How do you say stole when it's like that's part of what Fallout is?
Oh, I know, but like everything, like even like the clicky sounds for the UI and like some of the
It's
sounds for like the rad
exactly. It's
roaches and stuff.
perfect. Bill, that's like saying I can't believe they stole the Star Wars theme from the earlier Star Wars
They do kind of
movies.
keep on
Like
stealing. Come on, guys. Come on. Time to come up with a new
it's like
theme.
there are these things that are hallmarks that are part of
I'm just saying,
Fallout.
Adele would sing a perfect Star Wars theme. No, but like, you know what? It's funny because like I got so distracted by other stuff. I actually have not touched Fallout 4 all week. I mean to get back to that tomorrow. But like, did I say Fallout 4? But yeah, so I've played more of the original Fallout this week than I have of Fallout 4.
What do you
I
think
didn't
of it?
realize it's like pre-rendered cutscenes and
Mhm.
stuff like that. It's
Yeah.
actually way more technically advanced than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do
It's
you
like
see
fully
why
voiced.
this rocked tiny little baby Annie's world?
Yeah, no, this is I could see, and the game's actually not that old. It's like 1997, 1998,
Mm-hmm.
which granted shit, that actually is almost 20 years old.
Uh-huh.
Fuck. But I thought it was all going to be like sprite-based Super Nintendo shit. No, it's got Ron Perlman saying war never changes. I can see why that was a big deal when they did that for the first Fallout 3 Unveiled trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see Bethesda kind of I could see where they just kind of took everything from the original Fallout games. You weren't kidding about how
Yeah.
it's interesting. I don't know.
That's one of the things that's why Fallout 4 feels so warm and familiar to me.
Yeah, I can see.
It's literally a remix of this thing that was very important to me when I was a teenager figuring my shit out.
Yeah, I feel like I've gone back to your ancestral family home and found out
Pretty
that
much,
everything is
dude.
just Annie shaped and Annie colored and Annie smelling. Yeah, just kind of like, oh,
Uh-huh.
where Annie came from. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. I'll play more of it this week, but I tried to play it with the Steam controller. Steam controller is officially bullshit. I can't get it to run with any games. Whereas if I just plug an Xbox controller into the Steam machine, I use that to play. Actually, I was playing the last Tomb Raider game, the one from like 2 or 3 years ago, on PC with the Tress effects and a controller. That's pretty cool. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Phil, have
Um,
you joined the PC Master Race? Is this it for you?
it's not bad. The fact that I can go from Tomb Raider to playing um Regency Solitaire in just a button click or two. That's pretty good. It's not. It's
Mhm.
having a Steam machine is not the end of the world. Like I said, I'm more just happy to have this just so I can play any mostly indie games. But it's nice to go back to some older like console games and kind of see what they look like with a
Sure.
slight like graphics increase. Oh, speaking of console games, so did you I can't did we talk about Undertale last week?
We talked about it a little bit, I think, because I had started to play it.
Yeah, how far
I
into
plunked maybe an
Undertale?
hour into it.
Do you remember like if like any kind of story thing you hit or anything like that? Because I just got to I got to the cow lady's cabin. That
Yeah.
which doesn't seem like it's far. Like maybe an hour into
No.
Undertale at the
Yeah.
most. Is that how far you got?
I'm on the other side of that.
Oh, okay. So I just got to that like last night. That's a pretty cool little game. I like that.
Yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying it. It seems like there are things there that, like, I think I talked about last week. I think there are some elements of it that you might appreciate even more than I
Yeah.
did. I don't have
What is it?
the literacy and the things they're kind of riffing on.
You do buy a donut from a spider, which I saw that and I was like, oh man, I hope Annie
So,
didn't see this.
Bill, I must ask you, one of the core mechanics of Undertale is that you can play it as a traditional RPG and kill everyone, or
Oh,
you can be a pacifist and you can just befriend
what?
or otherwise talk your way out of encounters with creatures.
What is the point
Which
of
route
playing
are you
Undertale if
taking?
you don't try to take advantage of befriending
Yeah,
everybody as much as possible? Because that's the whole gist of the game.
yeah,
If you're just
yeah.
going to be beating people up, you might as well just go back to playing fucking Final Fantasy. So I'm kind of curious to see how
Agreed.
long you can go into the game without actually hurting anybody.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I just got to so Undertale, not to get too deep into it, but I've heard other people talk about how they don't want to talk about it at all because it's just you have to experience for yourself. And the game is really about how there's like a world of monsters living under the world of people, and you're like this little kid who falls into that world, and you immediately meet like this very kindly cow lady or something like that. She's like some kind of white skinned lady with horns. She kind of looks like a cow girl or something like that, some kind of cow lady, and she kind of takes you on as like her adoptive child almost and kind of guides you through like this underground world. And for the first hour she kind of leaves you to kind of like wander the world by yourself a little bit, and
Hmm.
you can go it's just like a Final Fantasy or Dragon Quest where it's like a turn-based role-playing game where you can like you can fight monsters and stuff, but you could also talk to them and befriend them, or just kind of scare them away so you don't have to fight them. And it just filled like with tons of crazy flavor text. Like even when you go to a save spot, rather than just being a save spot, it'll be like, this is a big pile of beautiful leaves. You sit down and think about leaves or something like that, and then you hit save. And I don't know, it's
a nice and thoughtful little game. Yeah. And it has, from talking to other people about it, it has some intense aspects to it that are unexpected. That's what I do like about Undertale, is that when you expect it to zig, it zags.
Yeah, because it seems like it could be too twee for its own good, but it definitely has, like, it's kind of self-aware and kind of like it pokes fun at itself a little bit. It's not trying to be like,
It's interesting the way it kind of lulls you with the tropes of those games, and that makes all the weird things that happen all the more jarring and unexpected.
Like me, like running the couple spider webs, and like it's just like, oh, here, buy a donut. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's a spider bake sale.
There's a part where I got to a wall that I couldn't pass, and instead of suddenly the game turns into like, because most of the game is like top down 8-bit kind of dungeon exploring stuff, but of course when you have to fight somebody, it turns into like a first person view where you're looking at the monster, and you can decide if you want to fight, run away, talk to the monster and stuff. And so there was a wall that I had to somehow defeat so I can get past where the wall was blocking everything off. And I was able to just flirt with it until the wall got really shy and walked away because it didn't want to commit to a relationship. And that's how I got past the wall. It's just a wall. It's like a brick wall. It was fucking hilarious. So, I don't know. Undertale's pretty goddamn cute.
It's like $10. I think it's worth your $10, my friend.
It's just a dumb experiment. It's great. It's very goddamn cute.
And I know a lot of people who've been genuinely emotionally jacked up by where it goes and the choices it makes. So
what else have you been doing?
I've really been playing nothing but Fallout. I think I'm almost to 90 hours at this point.
That's not too bad considering it's been almost 2 weeks. Actually, that's kind of slow for you.
Well, I mean, keep in mind that I played it. I got to like 80 hours within the first 4 days.
Oh no! Yes, you're really slowing down now. No,
it's almost like I have to go to my job or something and interact with my poor wife who has the stomach who got a food poisoning, real bad the last couple of days, so she's been having a hard time.
Have you beat the game?
No. No, what? It's a Fallout. I don't think I've even grazed the end game. Are you kidding?
You don't lock yourself out of any content by beating the game, right?
I don't know. I have been probably not, presumably not. That's not usually how Fallouts work. But it's I'm having a really good time with it. The only thing that makes me sad is that I haven't found my perfect friend in the world yet. Like, I love dog meat, and I really like this one companion, Kate. And but a friend of mine hit a companion who they love so much, means so much to them. So I'm like, I wonder if I'm gonna get a perfect companion like that. Aww. But it's getting to the point now where I'm like starting to sap the game of some of its resources. Like, I wound up absently looking something up and found out how many companions there were in the game, and that I had actually recruited all of them except for 2.
Is there like 13 companions?
There are 13 companions.
Okay. Wow, that actually seems like a lot. It seems like there were more than previous games.
Yeah, there's a heck there. I mean, there's just a lot to do in this game, is the truth. So, but yeah, I'm really enjoying my time with Fallout. It's just I'm having a really good time to it. I like how they've kind of tightened up the shooting a little bit, and that's a little more fun. And like, I don't know, I'm just I found like a play style that really suits me, and the game is really encouraging me to go that route. And I just fucking love Fallout.
Have you tried to use any of the bugs to kind of like increase your stats or anything like that?
I don't do that stuff.
Before I put down the game to start playing the new Star Wars Battlefront game, I did find out that there's a bug where if you still have the You Are Special book that you first find in your baby's bedroom when you go back there after the bombs fall, you find a You Are Special book which lets you put a couple extra points into some of your basic stats. And somebody pointed out there's a duplication glitch in the console version of the game where if you drop something, tell Dogmeat to go pick it up. And then if you pick it up as Dogmeat's picking up, it'll create a duplicate. Like, not only will you pick up the one that you pick up, but then like Dogmeat will essentially create a new one that he'll drop at your feet. And so if you duplicate that book a bunch of times, you can essentially give yourself 10 stats, level 10 and all the special stuff. And so I did that. But that was like the last thing I did. So I haven't actually gone back to see what that
doesn't seem actually fun, though.
I know, but just like I just wanted to.
Is that fun?
I know.
I mean, to be fair, I'm playing on very, very easy. So,
Yeah,
like, I am literally
we're just
playing
kind of
on
doing the same thing then. Yeah.
the babyest, like, baby wheels, but guiding wheels. But
I did
yeah.
notice that like I have 95% chance or more to hit anything from any range now with any weapon.
See, is that even fun, dude?
I don't say well, you know what? I'll tell you next week. It may be the best thing ever. Who knows?
Boy. I mean, like, I'm pretty at this point. It is very rare that I die in any scenarios I get in unless we're really overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Just because of the way I've planned my character out and the gun I'm equipped with and all this. But there's still like an element of it going wrong. I don't know, man.
I mean, I did find the Piper noob code.
I am a huge fucking cheater, so I don't know why I'm chastising you, because like I cheated my way from start to finish through Shadowrun Returns, everyone.
Wait, how'd you cheat your way through that?
There's console commands, so I just give my
so you
character.
really did just blast your way through that. Oh, okay.
I gave my character all the AP I needed to do all
this is just my way of just trying to get to the story. I don't have to worry about the gameplay.
Sure. Oh, and that's the thing. There are like I've finally gotten to the point now where there are various characters who'll give you busy work. I mean, it's busy work. There are impacts in the world, but it's busy work. There are all these settlements you can establish, and through the Minutemen, you will learn that you're like, oh, well, this settlement is under attack, or this settlement has problem with raiders or ghouls, and you have to go and clear out a place near that settlement of raiders or of ghouls. And they've sent me now a couple of times to places I've already been and I've already cleared out.
Yeah, okay.
And on the one hand, I was like, God damn it, this game is too big for me to be repeating things. But on the other hand, I went to I had to revisit one of the first places I ever went to in the game. And now I had the ability to lockpick things and hack into computers. I did it before. So
very nice.
To that degree, I was like, okay, this is actually, I got something from this. But I won't the next time they send me there. Fuck's sake.
I wonder if he, Lord. I wonder how much room there is in the game for you to get like unlock all the perks, or if you're really kind of stuck with a specific path that you're choosing.
I feel like if you, well, I mean, there is a level cap at 50 points. Level 50. At least there is now.
I'm sure they'll get bumped up with like future and stuff. But
yeah, I'm at level 34, so I'm clocking along there. But I've kind of got all the perks I want on my character. Now it's all just like optional stuff. I just want to be a killer with a pistol and have all of my lady killer, or should be my Black Widow perks and all of my trade perks and
Black Widow perks. Is that like you do more damage against men?
You do more damage against men, and also your charisma attempts against men are more likely to succeed.
That's what it is, yeah.
I have that maxed out.
Oh, I did just get to, the last thing I did in the game was I got to, what's the town with the pirate captain, the ghoul pirate captain?
Hancock, you got to Good Neighbor.
Yeah, I got to Good Neighbor, yeah. I literally just walked through the door, met the mayor, and that was it. I saved out right there, yeah.
Bill, when you get to Good Neighbor, I gotta give you a pro tip. Do the busy work for Kent. I think I told you this already, but I love Kent, the little mission that gets unlocked from doing Kent's busy work. It cracks me up because there are core quests in the game where you'll get actually like a quest like icon about, and there's a little quest thing in your quest markers. And then there are other things in the game that'll just come up as miscellaneous. And like there's just a miscellaneous quest bucket, and you go in there, there's a whole bunch of little objectives. And at first I thought those were just where all the nickel and dime bullshit objectives went that don't really matter. But I did a couple of them, and they all unlocked big quests. Like in the case of Kent gets you a little like nickel and dime miscellaneous quest that turns into a whole quest line that's a lot of fun. And then there's another one where you can actually recruit Hancock if you go down this one miscellaneous quest line, and otherwise it's not an option at all. So it's just like this game is just, there's just so many layers to it.
Hancock as a companion?
Yeah.
Oh shit, okay. So he's one of the 13 companions then. It's not just like a temporary companion, but
So it's there's that's the thing that kind of makes me nuts about this game, is that there are so many layers, and it's hard to tell if you're peeling off like one of 2 layers or if you're peeling off one of 19 layers at any given moment. And there are moments, and I get like this anxiety as I leave a location, because I'm like, did I suck all the marrow from that location? Because there sure seemed like there maybe was more going on there, and is it just like ambient filler to make the world feel richer, or is there actually some sort of mission going on with that?
Well, especially if like sometimes you can come back later if you have some kind of new skill, like better lockpicking or better hacking, you might be able to find something, but only if you come back. But then you have to make sure you remember to come back. And
there have been a few times where
you don't have to worry about that so much anymore, but.
There's a few times where I've fast traveled to the location, and as soon as I get there, someone is there to talk to me about something that I did. And now I keep thinking, like, what about all the places I haven't fast traveled to? What's going on?
How did I not lend you my Pip-Boy for all this?
Because we do technically in our household use the Pip-Boy app, but I don't ever use it because it's so much more cumbersome to pull out my phone and pull up all that. But this thing, Foley, I think I mentioned this, Foley will, when I'm in a combat situation or something and I get distracted, part of the reason why I haven't died as often is because Foley keeps an eye on my health. And she will like give me a stim pack, or she'll be very strategic about it. She's like, okay, well, Annie has this much radiation and needs this much health, so this is the best way to go, or this or that. It's really cute. She's my
because that's my biggest problem with that game so far is I keep on running out of anti-radiation stuff.
I've gotten to a point where now I can craft them with the right materials, and I just pick up everything that's not nailed down in the world. So I've found them in the world, but on the other hand, Bill, I'm playing on very easy.
Yeah.
So maybe
they've created a system. This is, I think, from like aside from bug stuff, I think this is one of the big design problem I'm having with the game is the fact that they actually made all the junk in the world useful, but did not increase your fucking ability to carry all that bullshit with you. So you're like,
you have to be strategic about it. Otherwise, you just have
like there's kind of a threshold. You have a higher threshold for that stuff than most other people. Where it's like, oh my god.
Well, I just know, and I know this from the fucking original Fallout games, that there is an aspect of the game and an aspect of the experience is inventory management. I think that's one of the reasons why you and I didn't have such an awful time with Dragon Age Inquisition in that regard, because I'm used to some degree to an arcane inventory system. But I will say this, one thing that I miss desperately from Dragon Age Inquisition is the ability to mark things for sale, so that you can just auto sell them the next time you go to a camp.
Yeah.
And B, the ability to press down on one of the triggers and have like that pulse go around you and just highlight what's selectable. Mm-hmm. So you can see the cruft from the actual usable things. I miss those two things desperately.
They could have been sorting through all the garbage and carrying all that garbage a little bit better if they were going to make so much of the new stuff they added to the game hinge on you collecting all that garbage. But yeah,
I feel like it's a risk. It's part of the whole risk reward structure.
I respect that. Encumbrance all together, although that would have been fun too. But they
the answer is you just
points or something like. Oh my god, give me a little
armor
bit of grace.
Skill. You boost your armor skills so you can craft deep pockets on your armor.
I can't complain too much because I've boosted my strength up so I can carry 100 pounds more stuff, but...
Yeah, asshole, you literally unlocked that ability. And there's a perk on your perk tree where you can carry more weight and your companions can carry more weight, Bill, so it's all about the strategy of the world.
I did duplicate a shitload of fusion cores too, so at least with the power armor stuff I should be okay for a while.
Man, who gives a shit about power? There's something about power armor that makes me
power armor. I keep on people hearing people talk about how they customize their power armor to look like a hot rod and stuff.
I'll believe that people are having a lot of fun with it, and that like it looks like this. But again, this is like a whole other system in Fallout that I'm not even engaging with. And there's so many systems I don't even miss it. Like I have like 30 fusion cores that I found in the world just sitting in my inventory unused because I never. It's one of those things where like whenever there's a precious resource in the game, you have this instinct not to use it.
Yeah,
because it's so precious.
One of the things too is like and the game with 140 fusion cores.
But it's like you gotta, sometimes you have to knuckle down.
Like I never use any. Like it's funny because I always carry all of the aid stuff with me that I have ever, just in case I need any kind of random thing. And I only the only ones I ever really use are like the Rataways and the whatever kind of healing stuff. I never use like Buff Out or Jet X or anything like that.
Yeah, that for me as a recovering addict, I feel weird about using alcohol and drugs in games
I
games.
think about
It's just
that.
something that, like, psychologically, I just can't do. Which there is a companion you get in the game who really likes it when you use drugs in front of them. So
Oh,
I'm like,
really?
I want
That's
them to be my
terrible.
friends, but I don't. Well, on the other hand, I had one companion where I went through an arc where I essentially put them through detox, and I absently, during a battle, when I was way overwhelmed, was like, I need an edge. And the first time in the entire game, I used a drug, and they hated it. They're like, what are you doing? What's wrong with you? And I'm like, dude, we have like 50 super mutants shooting at us. Calm down. But I will say this. Oh, man. So I was playing the other night, and something happened in the world that was so metal and so cool and has so changed the scenarios that I keep coming across that I was just like screaming at the television. I was like, no way! What? Poor Foley was asleep sick. And I'm just hooting and hollering at the television. I felt like an asshole.
Was it something that changed the world, or was it just like a
Yeah.
one-off? Yeah.
Yeah, it's so delicious.
Did you blow up Diamond City or something?
I love Fallout. No. A new faction came into play. I'll just say that.
No,
It was so
okay.
delicious.
I hope it would be somebody from the West Coast or something like that, just kind of like broadsiding everybody, or I don't know.
Man, okay, I will say this slight spoiler for Fallout. I try to be oblique, but there's this one companion you pick up at one point, and I'm like, oh, you're just an asshole mercenary. I don't care about you. Whatever. But his name sounded kind of familiar, so I just sent him to one of my settlements and like didn't think about him for a second. And then someone had to point out to me, oh, you mean McCready, who is the mayor of Little Lamplighter in Fallout 3. You meet him as an adult in this game, and he's a recruitable companion.
I heard that there was some kind of like very specific character carryover from Fallout 3 to this. I don't know if that's it, but okay.
Yeah, that seems like it.
I mean, it's Little Lamplighter in Fallout 3.
That was, I think it was actually Little Lamplight. I think I said it wrong. That's the town that's all kids.
Oh, really? Oh, geez, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, and he was the mayor with his little miner's hat. I just actually, last thing I did,
because you're not that far away from the DC wasteland in this world. Granted, it's hard to travel around in the post-apocalyptic wasteland of Fallout, but yeah.
It's last night I gave him a little miner's helmet, and I like him. I'm trying to take him around because I want to befriend all of my companions and hear more of their backstory and do more stuff. Like, my favorite companion in the game is this one guy who you meet, and I actually just unlocked his big, like, for lack of a better term, loyalty mission. And it's killing me because it's a fetch quest to fetch 10 items throughout the world, scattered throughout the world. And they're not even on my map. I have to find this one specific sort of location that will have each of these 10 things. Man. And he's my favorite character, so I'm like, what are you doing to me?
That makes me hurt, and I've barely touched the game.
Because, like I said, I don't mind. It's just like I love the Fallout world, and I love just dicking around with it and exploring, and I love the ambient storytelling you encounter.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of busy work in these games.
I'm glad you're having a good time with it, even though you're running against the cruft that's kind of like even scratching your ass a little bit, where it's like, ugh.
Well, it's like I accept that it's part of the face of modern gaming, and also it's like there can only be so much A+++ quality content.
Especially in a game this big. Yeah, not all of it's going to be star material.
There was a really interesting article that came out this week, and I can't remember the name of the gentleman who wrote it. He was one of the lead development leads on BioShock 2, and just is a really smart guy. And he wrote about how he was basically writing in defense of Fallout 4's bugginess, and he was talking about the company culture at Bethesda. I didn't know that Fallout 4 was made by a team of 100 people. That's crazy. And that Skyrim was made by a team of 80 people.
That's pretty crazy, yeah.
That's nuts to think of.
I think the team that made The Witcher 3, which is just as big as Fallout 4, I mean, I think that's like may even be a smaller, because that's a tiny like little Swedish studio or something like that. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it is. But it just makes you think
of like how many thousands of people are involved in a Grand Theft Auto. You know, and like hundreds and hundreds of people on each and every Assassin's
I
Creed.
wonder if Bethesda does the thing, because this is the thing I keep on hearing about modern day video games is like the untold, like kind of the known secret is that like most of the artwork you see in games these days, at least in terms
Are
of just like
contracted out.
yeah, it's like that rock over there was kind of like designed and made by somebody in China that was paid like 10 cents an hour for like their work, but like the main characters and stuff will be designed and put together by like Western the people who actually work at the studio, but. I kind of wonder how much. Yeah, it's interesting. I wonder if they did any outsourcing for Fallout 4, if it really was just those 100 people just working for 4 straight years with not doing nothing else. I don't know. That's kind of interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. And that's the sort of thing you just never get to know. It's like usually the whole point of the secret contractors is that they're secret.
Yeah. So what's
yeah, there's one of those game art studios in Eugene, isn't there? Like one
Something
of the
like
contractors. I can't remember what the names are. They're one of the major development studios in the area.
Yeah. Well, it's easy to forget there's actually like contract studios like that in the States that actually kind of like that all they do is produce content for bigger games that they will barely get credit for. But
yeah, Fallout 4, I have to say, I like the thrust of it so far. I think they picked up some interesting choices, like in terms of the factions that they set up here, the thrust of the narrative, even though I feel like people who have motherhood issues are enjoying the narrative more than most people are, but I don't know.
What kind of motherhood issues? That they want to be mothers, or they hate their mothers, or like what?
No, issues around the idea of motherhood.
Oh, okay.
Because this game is actually helping me deal with a lot of my horse shit, I have to say.
Really?
Okay. But I like the sort of stories they're telling, and I'm hitting the point now though where I'm like I think I finally interacted with all the factions of the game except for 2. And I've really, like, to some degree, really truly in depth interacted with them.
You haven't met the LARPers in the Southwest, right?
Man, I would respect this game so much if there were a LARPing community, like a post-apocalyptic LARPing community, where they just reuse a bunch of Skyrim assets. That would be beautiful. Beautiful.
But like, just kind of put some duct tape on a couple of those assets just to make it look like homemade. But
exactly, that would be really
Skyrim
beautiful.
hat, like with this the Skyrim helmet, except just made out of tin can, but it still has the horns on the side and everything like that.
But it's interesting because now I'm like, okay, all right, factions, I'm here, I'm ready to get in deep with y'all and really get into it. Like, great, go clear all the ghouls out of this location.
How do you feel that you're doing all this? You're ignoring the story. How does this feel knowing that your son's out there and you've spent 90 hours not doing anything to like further your search for your son?
That's really, it's really hard. I talked about that a little bit last week, the whole sense of your child. Literally time is passing. You're a parent and child is drifting. And it's interesting. Some stuff happened recently that should add to my character's urgency.
Yeah.
In wanting to get this resolved, but there's just so much shit to do.
Because you're talking about how this would like kind of like tinker with people's motherhood issues, but if you're like in a game where you're kind of ignoring your son for most of the game, like I was kind of like how
what is a greater way to articulate one's motherhood issues than I have this child but I've got things to do.
Fuck it, I gotta grow vegetables. Wait for 3 years, I got crops to come in.
So
so what's up with Sacred Heart?
Oh, yeah, so I finished reading a book this morning. My dear pal Kate Craig got me as a gift a graphic novel collection called Sacred Heart. Apparently it is a collection of a comic that had run as a web comic. And I really, really enjoyed Sacred Heart. Highly recommend it. It's hard to talk about because it is more about character and place and tone and mood than it is about actual actions.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting because sometimes when you read webcomics, you can really tell the ones where people had like an overarching idea and they're heading to a very inevitable conclusion versus kind of riffing as they go and expanding as they go. And this one, had I not been told that it was a webcomic, I would not have guessed that it was a webcomic. There's an interesting sort of easygoing pacing to it that I really, really enjoyed. And the composition is super good from panel to panel.
It's got interesting black and white art. It looks like it's drawn pretty well.
It's
Yeah.
about these teenagers in a community and dealing with this their relationships and with each other and with themselves over the course of this one summer. And I can't to talk too much about. And there is a sense of dread about it. There are clearly things that you don't know, and there's a strong sense of ambiguity to the world that I really liked. That kind of played into all the uncertainty of being a teenager and trying to figure out who you are, and like trying to act mature, like you know what you're doing, when really you're just figuring it out as you go, and dealing with sex for the first time, and dealing with alcohol and the temptation of drugs and all this other shit, and figuring out who you are and expecting to act like an adult when you're still like a fucking child. And that the uncertainty of the world kind of ties nicely into that feeling, because you as a reader, you know, I'm well on the other side of being a teenager, but having that ambiguity and uncertainty in the world kind of dredged up those feelings of uncertainty and not understanding of how I felt when I was a teenager. And it's interesting is that even though this comic did not reflect my experiences at all, there's still enough truth there and enough realness there for it to resonate, even as things are a little surreal and a little othered and alien, and just a really good comic. I recommend it highly.
Yeah, I just Googled Sacred Heart comic and brought me to lizsuburbia.com. And yeah, I'm looking at the artwork right now. The artwork looks kind of like very like Love and Rockets, Jaime Hernandez kind of influenced.
It's kind of a punk sort of thing. Yeah, it reminds me of if Love and Rockets and an artist named Simon Gain made out, the result would be this. Yeah. And it's just really competent as shit and kind of self-assured, and I don't know, I just really enjoyed it. The storytelling, I should say. The characters are not.
Yeah, everything in this world is really grubby. Yeah, man, this guy's got a super Jaime Hernandez boner. That's really cool. That's awesome. Yeah, that's.
But yeah, I went and looked at it online a little bit. It looks like it's still going online. It's something that is worth getting the book and sitting down and reading in one setting. And I can't imagine having read this installment by installment. It's just it's something that benefits so much from being consumed in one go and letting those feelings and everything wash over you and overwhelm you. And also, frankly, the thing about comics that are ultimately about like an intimate look into characters is that I'm like, it's a very different sort of payoff to pace it out over years as opposed to consuming it in one go. Like, I can't imagine following that story day by day. Yeah. Or even week by week, as opposed to just sitting down and consuming it.
Somebody menstruated. Oh my god, what kind of comic is this?
See, even that scene is actually a big spoiler, dude. So don't you need to stop reading. Don't read that scene anymore, because you need to read it from the start, dude. Don't be that person.
Like almost sex scene too. That's actually very cute.
There's a lot of sex scenes in that book. Actually, these teens get around. Get
so you're getting a print version of this?
Yeah.
Man, this looks really cool. I could see this being really cool, like actual book to read.
I will happily loan it to you, because it's really worth giving some time to.
I could support the artist and writer, Liz Suburbia. Liz Suburbia looks awesome.
Yeah, it's just a really good, like I said, it's I'm always impressed by authors whose storytelling feels very true and immediate, even when it's something that is not necessarily your experience. So it's good shit. Read Sacred Heart for Fantagraphics on Amazon.com right now for like $19.78.
Actually published by Fantagraphics. That totally is a Fantagraphics kind of book then. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's very without getting too spoilery, it's just like these teenagers who are in a situation without adult supervision and what goes on. So it's really super good. I really enjoyed reading it. It was one of those things where I finished reading it and I immediately wanted to. My friend Kate lives like 2,500 miles away. I immediately wanted to hop on my bicycle and go over and hang out. I'm like, Kate, let's have some coffee and talk and rap about Sacred Heart.
Kate's got great taste in everything.
She does. She's a good kid.
Great taste in wives and friends and comics and video games that she works on. Yeah,
she's a good kid. Anyway, Bill, tell me what else is going on in your life this week?
No, the only other thing I did this week was played a shitload of Star Wars Battlefront. There's not much other to say than if you like the Star Wars movies, you'll probably at least like running around in that game for 10 minutes. The game really is as deep as a sidewalk. It's not bad, but it really is just almost completely just online stuff. It was worth buying though, just to have it on hand for. Yeah, people came over yesterday. We recorded. This will go up later on the Boy Howdy feed this week, probably either Tuesday or Wednesday. But we recorded a podcast commentary for The Empire Strikes Back, and so both before and after the commentary, I was showing off everybody Battlefront. Man, especially Mike Russell was like totally like, oh my God, I can't believe video games can look like this. It actually looks like the movies and sounds like the movies and everything. And so he was like running around on Endor, blowing up people on a Hoth, and Leland was here, and like, yeah, they were like doing a like first person speeder bike chase and racing and stuff, and just as like essentially a console game tech demo to show like fellow nerds. It's almost worth having on hand. I've
Do you
barely
not find it compelling as a multiplayer experience?
not really, because it's very shallow in terms of like the only stuff to collect in the game are like Call of Duty has this super robust, like as you play, the more you play, the more you can kind of like unlock new guns and get like crazy new sights and new add-ons for the guns. This game doesn't have that. There's only like maybe a dozen guns to unlock in the game. There's no you can't really tweak the guns at all, which it's not necessarily a bad thing, but this is very much, it feels like a shooter from like, other people have mentioned this, but it's dead on. It's totally like, in terms of the quality of the gameplay, it's about as deep as like a first-person shooter from like the Nintendo 64 or like PlayStation 2 era, before games like really like, especially with the advent of Call of Duty, really added like all these kind of branching upgrade paths for both your character and your equipment. This doesn't have that. You really pretty much choose a couple basic, like, oh, I got this, like I either have electric grenade or a normal grenade, or I have a shotgun, or I have a normal gun, or I have like a pistol. And you just kind of run around, like, there's a whole bunch of different objective-based stuff where you can just, but you're still just kind of running around, like, kind of shooting at people, and it sounds stupid because it sounds like I'm describing every first-person shooter ever made. But in the last decade or so, there has actually been an evolution of first-person shooting that this game kind of ignores, and the fact that there's really no single-player content is kind of a bummer. You're playing $60 for a game that you can really only play online with other people, and which wouldn't be so bad, yeah, if the gameplay wasn't just kind of really shallow, but it looks really pretty. The one big thing in the game is I have actually barely touched any of the first-person shooty stuff. There is one mode in the game where it's nothing but spaceships, and that's what I've been playing almost exclusively.
Really?
Because, well, the first-person stuff, like I said, it's fine, but it's a little simple. But a lot of the stages in the game where you're playing, where you're on foot, first persons, well, you can switch between first person and third person, but most of the stages where you're on foot, there's enough verticality to the stages, like up and down stuff, that's you really, there's a jetpack you can unlock when you like get to like level 13 in the game. And without that jetpack, it's just really hard to kind of get around because there's so many things you have to kind of climb and get up on and stuff, that when you're just kind of like trudging on foot and you have a very tiny, like very kind of weak little jump, with the jetpack, jetpack makes getting around the stages like a lot more fun. And so I pretty much ignored all the on foot stuff until just last night when I finally got to level 13 by playing exclusively through just like the space combat stuff, which is funny. It's actually not even space combat. All the aerial dogfighting stuff actually takes place. It's not even in space, but like you're just like flying over like the surface of like Tatooine or Endor and stuff like that. But yeah, so I spent the whole week just like flying around in X-Wing fighters and TIE fighters, and you can get power-ups that turn you into the Millennium Falcon or a Boba Fett ship. And it's still pretty fun. Even as a flying game, it's super, like I said, because you're not in space, so you don't have like a full 360 sphere of movement. You're still just kind of like, it's more Star Fox than it is like a deep space fighting sim.
Yeah, but interesting.
It's Star Fox, but with like a very pretty Star Wars skin on top, which is not bad. But again, Star Fox is a game from like 20 years ago. But it's yeah, really pretty, really shallow. It's like this Star Wars Battlefront is the Entertainment Weekly of Star Wars video games. Not bad. There's lots of pretty things to look at. The information is a little bit, but yes, it's Star Wars Battlefront. You know if you want it, you want it. If you don't, you're not interested. There's nothing going to be here to draw anyone in that if you're not already into Star Wars or this kind of gameplay. But it's not bad.
Interesting.
It is weird because there's only like is there only like 3 planets in the game that you're actually battling on? There's Hoth, there's Endor, and there's Sullust, which is a lava planet. Oh, and Tatooine, so there's 4 planets. Which you kind of wonder, like, especially like something like Cloud City or Dagobah. There's like way more environments that you think that they would have thrown into this game. But again, they did announce a $50 DLC for the game, and I'm assuming like that's when you'll get that stuff.
Sure.
And like,
yeah, I almost threw down the $30 season pass for Fallout DLC, and then I stopped there and went, "What the fuck is wrong with me? I have enough Fallout 4 as it is on my plate.
well,
What am I
you'll buy it
doing?
eventually. It's just a matter if you buy it now or buy it later.
Yeah, it's like I don't need a second helping of Fallout 4 right now. I'm still halfway through my dinner.
They'll come out the first DLC for that like next spring or summer.
Yeah.
So you got plenty of time, but yeah, there's no reason to like go crazy on that shit right now.
But I'm sorry that it's kind of a Battlefront is not the ass blasting experience you wanted it to be.
Yeah, it's funny because people last night we were talking about how pretty the game looks, and it would be amazing if you took all the assets from Battlefront and actually turned it into a real, essentially if you had like a BioWare RPG in the original Star Wars universe using the assets from. Granted, I know that's not how games work. You can't necessarily just take like all the assets from a first-person shooting game and just put them into a role-playing game. But they put so much work into the audio-visual stuff in that game. Yeah. That it is kind of a shame if it just gets wasted on this one thing. It almost feels like this should be like, from a technological asset perspective, they should be able to recycle some of this stuff into other, I don't know, like the Amy Hennig game, whatever that's going to be. Should ideally would use some of the assets and like some of the technology from this game. Granted, different studios do use different engines, and assets don't port from one engine to another very easily, if at all. But I don't know.
I feel like there was a golden moment and granted, this is entirely me from the outside. There was a golden moment where everyone you knew and you and Joshin and everybody were all playing Call of Duty. And you could guarantee that if you wanted to chat with your friends or like do anything like that, it's like, yeah, well, I'll go hop on to Call of Duty. Yeah. And like now there just has not been that moment again since. Like it was, we'll go play Halo, we'll go play Call of Duty, and now it's just there's been this diaspora.
That's part of the reason why so many people, including myself, are really excited for Destiny, because it seemed like Destiny was going to be that next game where everyone had it, everyone was going to be on it all the time. And maybe if they're not on it all the time, but it'd still be on it often enough that like,
yeah, you can hang out with your pals,
see everybody online, like your online social gang would be on there. But yeah, that didn't work out because Destiny's not a piece of shit. It's a beautiful game that is very pretty, and that I don't hate Destiny. Such a passive aggressive against it, but yeah, Destiny did not turn out to be the media, the social hub that everyone.
I feel like there's this hope for this golden summer to return, and it will never will.
Granted, I guess that kind of social hub stuff is easier to pull off on PC, but it's weird that like games, especially now that we're a decade into where consoles all have always online stuff going on. It's weird that you don't have more games that just don't have like persistent, just always on, go online, hang out with your friends stuff. And I guess that's kind of like what Sony tried to do with PlayStation Home, where it wasn't a game, but it was at least like online, essentially like an online Facebook where you can go hang out and see what everyone else is up to and maybe launch indie games from there. But it's weird that like, yeah, there's not like console online social stuff is still really lacking. It hasn't really evolved in the last like decade. It's really weird.
It's interesting that it seems like the unlock is more like linking your console to other social things that actually matter to you, like being able to post to Facebook or Twitter, or be able to launch a Twitch stream, or you know, it's interesting. It's things that take you outside of your console.
But yeah, you think there'd be more platforms that like on consoles. Yeah, it's really weird that I guess the PlayStation Home thing must have been a failure, but it would be interesting if each console had like if you had Xbox Gold or like PlayStation Plus, like somewhere you can go on socially and just kind of like hang out with people, like maybe leave message, which I guess that's taking all of the stuff that's on the front end of your console anyway and just kind of turning into a 3D space, because you can still leave messages and see who's online whenever you hop online. But it's not like
uses that. Like really, it's like it's something that's it's such a great idea, but it's so hard to do well, so easy to do poorly. And it's stuff like the Mi Plaza stuff and your Wii U is like really compelling and fun, like the first 30 minutes you used it, and then how often have you looked at it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like something that it's so easy to pump so much money and time into something that is ultimately just a novelty,
You got to
you
make it
know?
more compelling than masturbating. That's the thing. If you find yourself sitting there going, you know what, I could be beating off or jilling off right now. This could be time better well spent doing something else. Yeah, that's kind of the threshold. Yeah.
I judge all art over whether it is greater or lesser than flicking my bean.
Well, yeah, no, that's the thing. You're sitting there by yourself, and then, like after the first half hour novelty of doing something wears off, you had like, what do? You could turn off the console, or you could have fun with yourself, and you've won if you've made playing like interacting with the tech thing that you have in front of you is more interesting than just like going off into a corner and just like just abusing yourself. Yeah.
And with that, everybody, we're going to take a little break. And we'll be back for the Geek Week
That's
in
the
review.
Bill
I
Mudrick
swear,
test.
I'm going to go get some water. That's all. We'll be back.
Christ.
All right, pal. Let me go check on my girl real quick.
Yeah, go get your
I'll be
water.
right back.
I'm just writing down the break time. 1:18. Oh my god. In fact, I might start masturbating right now. Oh, where's my fat folder? Oh, my fat folder filled with teddy bears and piles of meat. Can't jerk off anymore unless it's a teddy bear filled with hamburger, raw hamburger. It's a fetish I picked up in Germany. Pootie tang. Tip tongue is Zamatai. Let's see what's new in the world. Any news breaking while we're on break. Jimmy and Conley making themselves in Fallout 4. That's a weird Conley. That's weird. So I'm assuming Donald Trump said something stupid today. More that I have not seen what Donald Trump said, but people complaining about what Donald Trump said. Let's see. Checking Twitter. Dun, dun, dun. Checking Twitter. Dun, dun, dun. Hello, people watching us at home. Hope you're doing good. I'm singing a song for you. Da 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 da. Man, Black Friday sale is going crazy. Amazon's having a shitload of Blu-ray sales today. Man, this shows like the death of physical media. That all these Blu-rays are like $2. There's a Scott Pilgrim versus the World limited edition steelbook for $5. Man, do I even own Scott Pilgrim? I must. They had the Karate Kid 1 and 2 for $7. I had to get that. It's been fucking forever since I watched the Karate Kid movies. Holy shit. I love, man, especially Karate Kid 2. I don't even know who I'm talking to right now. I don't even know if anyone's actually watching this, but man, the fucking Karate Kid 2. Man, that movie came out when I was 11. That was like our first real exposure to Japanese stuff as a kid, too. Yeah, that came out in 1986, so that was like a year or two before I got a Nintendo. And that was like before I really, my first like real window into Japanese culture and stuff, which is funny because Annie's not there. Okay, that shit was like filmed in Hawaii with just a bunch of Japanese Hawaiian extras to kind of make it look like Japan. They tricked me. I felt so angry, but I remember playing the first Shenmue game. And I think that takes place in like 1986 too. And I always used to think that like, oh, it's the same time and place that Karate Kid took place, even though it wasn't. But I don't know. Oh man, let's see. Scott Pilgrim Blu-ray. Let's see if I already own this. It's funny to look up my Amazon purchase history. It's actually easier than just going over the shelf and seeing I actually have that on the shelf. I don't know when I'm ever going to watch Scott Pilgrim again, though. It's a good movie, but it's not like a movie you're going to watch all the time. Although it's Edgar Wright. Edgar Wright movies are worth owning on Blu-ray just because they're so pretty. And also, presumably, for all the special features and stuff, too. Maybe I do own that on Blu-ray. What the fuck? Those would be redundant whenever they put out a Edgar Wright box set someday, but what you gonna do? Yeah, I still remember seeing the Scott Pilgrim at the premiere party here in Portland. Was it, man? Oh, that was a big deal because Oni Studio, the comic book studio that published Scott Pilgrim, they're based here in Portland, so that was an extra big crazy party. They had a whole museum exhibit with like original Scott Pilgrim art and stuff. That was actually kind of a cool night. Anyway, I don't know why I'm talking about Scott Pilgrim so much. I'd still want to check out the colored versions of the Scott Pilgrim comics because those looked really nice. PlayStation TV is only $20. Man, I'm not worried about getting a PlayStation TV, but I should pull the trigger on Persona 4 Golden. I think I did buy a copy of Persona 4 Golden, a physical copy, and I lent it to Annie, and I don't think she ever touched it. So rather than even buying this $10 version that's available digitally, I should just get that Vita version back off of her. Because I keep on hearing people rave about that Persona shit. I bought that game, but I never played it. I just lent it to Annie. It's not like I'm dying for any new games to play right now anyway, but still. I need to find the power cord for my Vita. I haven't touched my Vita in a year. How physical version is $20. So is Persona 4 Golden? I guess that is the like big. If you're gonna get a Persona game, that's like the big one to get, I guess. And aren't they coming out with Persona 5s too soon? I should probably play Persona 4 before. Maybe I should pull the trigger on that just so I have it to play next spring. After the video game winter kerfuffle dies down, then I could play it next spring in the lead up to. I think Persona 5 is supposed to come out next spring. But then again, I also have shit to play because you got the fucking 2 Fire Emblem games are coming out next spring. Star Fox coming out next spring. Granted, Star Fox not a huge time sink, but let's see. Persona 5. I'm thinking out loud to myself. I'm thinking out loud to myself. How you doing? I'm talking to you, Bill. I'm singing a song to you, Bill. Yeah. Oh. Bill, you're so sexy. Take off your shirt on the live stream. Time to abuse yourself in front of people online. Time to set up a PayPal tip jar. Okay, let's see. Persona 5. It doesn't come out until next fall in Japan. Oh, okay, so I got plenty of time to play Persona 4. Where is Annie? Where is Annie? I think Annie decided to go masturbate instead of being on the podcast. Jesus. Took my advice literally. Actually, fuck it. Fuck it. I should be saving money. I should not be spending money. Oh my god, Annie's back. Holy shit, it's like we're recording a podcast.
Hello, friend.
Annie, in the time that you've been gone, I've been through a mini odyssey.
Tell me all about it, my friend.
I almost masturbated in front of the camera. While I also purchased the Steelbook limited edition version of Scott Pilgrim movie
yeah?
for $5 and then decided I'm never gonna watch it, so I unordered it. My Twitter feed's just because like Amazon's having all of its Black Friday sales all throughout the week. My Twitter feed is nothing but like, oh my god, this is on sale, and so I'm trying to keep from like doing compulsive, just like, oh, it's only $5. But so yeah. I did get the Karate Kid and the Karate Kid Part 2 on Blu-ray for $7 though. Those movies are awesome.
Good. I'm glad you're having a good time. If you see any good like little USB things or something, let me know. Like any little thumb drives.
Oh really? You're looking for that stuff?
Well, I want to buy some and fill it with Bake Off and just be able to throw it at people.
Oh, that's a good idea. I'll keep that in mind. Yeah, I'm trying to like, how much are thumb drives right now anyway? Let's see. Thumb drive. Hello?
Hi. Hello.
Oh,
hi.
Your sound is all messed up.
Is it because I'm eating? Is it because I'm eating, or do I?
No, it was like a tech like. No, you sound better though. It sounded like a short near. But you sound better now. Okay, thumb drive. What you eating?
Dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs?
Have I helped you to these dinosaur chicken nuggets that Bruna hooked me to?
Oh, you know what? You're not the first person to talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
I highly recommend this baby food, my friend.
I need to go food shopping this week for Thanksgiving. I might keep that in mind. So, do they taste good, or is it just because they're dinosaur shaped?
No, they're really good.
Okay.
They're straight up some of the best chicken nuggets I've ever had, period. Much less something I can make myself at home.
Now, these are from the store, right? There's not just like a dinosaur-shaped chicken McNugget restaurant?
They sell them at Safeway, my friend. They're called like Dino Nuggets or Dinosaur Nuggets or something.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Safeway website right now because they also do grocery delivery, which I'm actually probably going to count on for Thanksgiving Day stuff.
That's actually a really good idea.
Yeah. Well, because I'm getting all these big ass. I'm getting a bunch of like heavy stuff, like a bunch of what's it called? The broth, chicken broth and stuff. I need to get a bunch of that stuff for like turkey soup later on in the week, and like lugging that stuff home on the bus. Fuck that noise.
Yep.
You don't have to pay like. It can be anywhere from like $5 to $10 for delivery, like the actual delivery charge, but the prices seem to be pretty much what they are in the store, so it's not that bad. Yeah.
Have you experimented with Prime Now yet?
Oh yeah, first time on Friday. I forgot to mention this. Maybe this is podcast talk. Well, maybe not. Because
well, let me finish eating. Yeah.
Well, I could just scream at you while you're eating.
Yeah, please do. Please do.
It would be the first time. Yeah, no, Dylan and I we were working on Friday together, and we were hard up trying to figure out something to do new for lunch. And she was like, "Oh, have you heard like Amazon Prime does restaurant delivery?" And I was like, "Oh shit, that's right." And so we realized that they deliver from Pok Pok.
Oh,
have you eaten from Pok Pok?
Yeah.
I know it's one of the more famous restaurants here in town, which is funny because it's actually part of a chain. It's not like just like a restaurant Portland only thing.
Well,
it's a Thai place too, which I usually don't like Thai food.
Yeah.
What's that?
The one that's on the Vision is the first Pok Pok. Yeah.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. So we got a bunch of chicken wings from there, and they are fucking good.
That's the best part.
They have big-ass caveman chicken wings. They're not like little like buffalo wings you get at the bar or at other like Western restaurants. It's like these big like tri-fold wings like from actually like full-grown birds, and like the super sweet, hard, savory sauce with like lots of garlic and salt and just fucking good. It's weird too because Dylan's like she's not vegetarian, but she's not much for like eating meat off the bone. She doesn't eat red meat and stuff like that, but she was like gnawing down on these things like it was fucking. She looked like it was good stuff.
Yeah.
It was actually relatively cheap. It was like right now, I think if you want to test delivery, it's like free. Like you don't have to pay any. You're just paying the restaurant price, and you're just tipping whoever drops off the food. But yeah, it was a really quick delivery. I think we got the food dropped off in like less than half an hour, so it was really good. And yeah, it charges through your Amazon account.
That's awesome. Yeah, I keep meaning to experiment
Man,
more with that because I know they do delivery from like New Seasons and Saint Cupcake
yeah.
and all that garbage. Yeah.
I've never heard of Saint Cupcake before.
It's right on Belmont next to it's like in our old neighborhood. Like
Okay.
it's right across from Zoopans.
Our old neighborhood from like 10 years ago, but yeah.
Back in the day. I said our old neighborhood. Old.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with a place that just sells nothing. They sell nothing but cupcakes, right? I'm assuming that's why it's called Saint Cupcake, right?
That's their thing. They do cupcakes. They're part of that cupcake boom. So
Man. Hopefully we're not too laggy because there's a weird desync between your video and your audio, but your audio is coming through okay, but that might be just like, yeah, that might be just my internet connection or something like that. So.
yeah, hopefully, is it just the audio? Because if we need to restart, we can always stop recording and start like disconnect and reboot everything.
No, it seems to be okay so far. As long as you're recording your own GarageBand half of this, it should be okay.
Here, let's do a test. Knock knock.
Who's there?
See, nope, that's too much. That's too much lag.
Oh, is that bad? Okay, we can always restart again. Yeah.
Here, let's try again. Knock knock.
Okay, who's there?
No, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. This could be awkward, but
no.
what else is new? An awkward boy howdy? That'll be a first.
Let me see if I can do anything to like make that. Let me see if I can mess with the. I can always turn the camera off, so it's a little bit like less bandwidth going through.
Yeah, here, let me try just doing audio only.
Yeah. Whoa! Oh wait, how'd you do that? Turn the camera off?
There's a bandwidth setting, and I had it set low anyway, and I just switched it to audio only.
Oh, okay. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, Bill. Knock knock.
Who's there?
That's better.
Oh no, that doesn't sound good though. Yeah, you're pretty much in sync with me, so I don't know if maybe on your I don't know.
I don't know.
Monkey
Well,
thing.
let's just go for it.
Let's just do it. Fucking what? Who gives a shit?
Okay, so hi friends, pals. It's time for the Geek Week in Review. After our little break there, thank you so much for letting us go take care of ourselves. Did you know?
Oh man, you are breaking up like a motherfucker now.
Oh, and you just broke up too. Should we stop and restart?
Yeah, we don't have to start the GarageBand stuff, but we can. Is it worth stopping and restarting the GarageBand stuff? Actually, yeah, we could start a whole new hangout maybe.
Yeah. Do you want me to stop if I'm sounding crunchy just in case? Do you want me to check my audio in GarageBand? We'd have to stop recording.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea too. So okay, we're gonna take like just a quick like 2-minute break. Yeah, we'll jump off this. We'll restart the hangout.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we're gonna start another GarageBand recording too. So we'll just like jump off real quick, go offline, come back on, and then resync and essentially start. Yeah, pretty much start up everything again. So yeah,
sounds like a plan, my friend.
Oh, okay. I'll send you an invite again if yeah, okay.
Okay.